Hi guys, today we're going to talk about neurons and how they communicate with the rest of your body. So what is a neuron? A neuron is a special type of cell found in your body used to communicate with other types of cells and other neurons. So this type of cell is found all throughout your body. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, and every sensation that you feel as well are all due to neurons. So you might think, hey, when I feel something, isn't that due to nerve cells? Well, yes. Neurons are nerve cells. Nerves are just what we call neurons when they're outside of the central nervous system. When they're inside the central nervous system, you can think of that as your brain and spine, they are called tracts. So a nerve goes into a tract, which is part of your brain. So they're all still neurons. They're just called different things depending on where they're located. So what is a neuron made up of? A neuron is made up of a soma, an axon, and dendrites, to put simply. So what are those? Well, first, let's start with the soma, or the cell body. This is the big chunk that you usually see. If you look at some microscopes and such, these are the big parts that you're going to be like, hey, that looks like a cell. So with it looking like a cell, we can assume that's where it's mostly a cell. So inside of the soma, that's where we'll see stuff like the mitochondria, the nucleus, the ribosomes. Everything that makes up a cell is found within the soma. So then what about the axon? Well, the axon is where communication travels out of. It travels through the axon and then to dendrites. Dendrites are then like a tree or a bush where they just spiral out and touch other neurons. There they have synapses. Synapses are just the ends of them and they send out information, typically through the form of neurotransmitters. So that's the very basics of how one is built up, and we can get a lot more into it, such as the axon hillock, which is right between the soma, cell body, and the axon, the wire that communicates things. So the axon hillock is where that information gets shot out of to then communicate. And then on the axon itself, there's these little fatty tissues called myelin sheaths. So what are myelin sheaths? Those help signals to travel faster because, well, things may feel instantaneous. They have a few nanoseconds of response time. So because of that, sometimes you need to speed up information, and when that's needed within a certain tract or nerve, then there's going to be myelin sheaths all throughout it to effectively squeeze the cell to push the signal forward. So what are these signals? Every time, I know when I ever heard signal, I just thought of, okay, that's like electric pulse going through. And that isn't wrong, actually. So signals, also known as action potentials, are just quick little signals, quick little bursts of energy. This is done when a neuron exchanges potassium and sodium with each other to cause this signal to just go whoop right through. But it only does it real fast. It has a cooldown period. So if it only sends one type of little whoop right through, how do we know what we're feeling? Well, that's because it's how often it sends out those signals. The frequency of those signals being sent out is what tells us if something is soft, if something is hard, if something is major or minor. Our brain then takes all that information, those little boop, boop, boops, and determines, hey, that boop, 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 plus what we're seeing from the eyes, means it's probably this feeling or that feeling. This is why sometimes it will feel like, oh, there's a bug crawling on you, but then you smack your arm and, nah, it was just lint. It's because you had that little boop, 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 your brain didn't have something to immediately connect it with, so it connected it with the most logical next thing. And that's the basics of neurons and how they communicate with each other. And there's a lot more we can get into, such as glia. We can get into different neurotransmitters. But for now, that's all you need to know. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, send me more information. I'm still a student, I'm still studying, so I'd love to hear your takes and what you can find on this topic. Have a wonderful day, y'all.